Well, good evening, Bronco, or good evening. What am I saying? I'm used to the regular podcast. Good afternoon, Broncos country. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, sponsored by Morgan Trinkets. I am your host, Keith Brugman, and man, what a way to come in. Coming in with a W, and let's all face it, I almost got to call almost every single one of you guys out because you all didn't think that we could do it. You all thought that Tampa Bay was going to be much more formidable. And quite honestly, they should have been. They should have been after what they got done in the first 2 weeks. My name's Keith Brugman. I'm going to be with you for the next 30 minutes along with Rocket Man, Trevor Salzman. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. I mean, again, this is a heck of a win. I mean, I'll just be the first one to eat the crow. I mean, I didn't think that this offense would come out firing like they did. And, man, Bo Nix he looks like the guy today, in my opinion. This is his coming out party for Bo. I thought they seen him run the football better in this game as well. 136 rushing yards. That's exactly what you want to see from this football team. That's including Bo Nix, of course. But, I just think that we've seen some flashes from this offense that you want to see much improved. VJ's defense also stepping up, 7 sacks on Baker Mayfield today. Just what a performance on both sides of the ball, and just love it. Complete clean football game today from the Denver Broncos on the road in Tampa Bay. Exactly what you want to see from this team. Love it. Love every single bit of it, and I'm glad that I get a chance to eat crow finally because I doubted this team a little bit coming into Tampa Bay. I thought it was a winnable game because they do have some injuries on that defensive line, but man, love seeing it, and so excited for Broncos country, and just excited for Bo Nix getting his first win as a Denver Bronco. And we should all be proud.
Yeah, excited, proud. I think it was Michael Ronquillo on our last podcast that came in and said our record was like 604 and 1 tie on daytime games heading east. It's like, oh my goodness. Talk about beating the odds. Ernie Mays came in here early, says, go Broncos country only. Hey, we finally got to say it. Bo Nix for 6 in the regular season. Congratulations, Bo Nix. And Ernie, I know you've been cheering this team on, and he's coming in here and it's like, Trevor. Yep, a little bit of crow. Beto's coming in here. Appreciate you, Beto. He's coming in here and saying, sup, guys? He says, and I think a lot of us were asking this question as, my goodness, right out the gate, buddy, right out the gate. He's asking, where has this offense been, man? What did you like? What did you see difference that the Broncos were operating and being efficient and staying on the field? And I know the Bo Nix looked better, but it just wasn't all Bo Nix. What else was happening out there, buddy?
Well, they finally got some sort of break in the running game. Tyler Beatty, again, 9 carries for 70 yards, 7.8 average per game. It's just, he was just fantastic. I think we've finally seen Sean Payton start to make adjustments to this football team. Javonte, after that fumble, it's kind of seemed like, he kind of took a back seat a little bit, and finally starting to see different personnel to help Bo Nix out. Now, the running game's not where it needs to be quite yet, but it's starting to take strides in the right direction. But Keith, actually, I do think it starts with Bo Nix in this one. His footwork, in my opinion, looked better in this one. He's making decisions, really smart decisions downfield. He's seen the field a lot better, in my opinion. The offensive line gave him just enough time to make reads, but again, he was pressured quite a bit today still. But I do think that this game started with Bo Nix. I just think that he set the tone, and just the way he came out, you could tell earlier this week he was excited, he was pumped up, he's ready for this
Mm.
atmosphere and play in this atmosphere. He did a heck of a job, just very confident as well. I mean, this is the best I think we've probably seen by a rookie quarterback this year so far in the NFL, performance-wise from an NFL quarterback. And Bo Nix, and again, I needed to see strides from Bo Nix to go in the right direction. And in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, I think I seen that from him. He just, again, complete different Bo Nix that we've seen up to this point in this game today. Loved seeing it. I think the Broncos have their future quarterback in number 10 with Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm not going to get that excited. It is one game. We didn't see the best in the last two, but I'm telling you what, you were looking for a strides. I saw 2 strides and a leap out there compared to where he was at in these last 2 games, man. He looked, like you said, confident from the get, standing in the pocket, not bailing out. He delivered on time balls left and right. Man, I'm telling you what a fantastic performance by Bo Nix. And you're right, it does start with him, but hey, hats off to like an Alex Palczewski that went out there and had to fill a big, big void. And I think did a phenomenal job out there. This offensive line seemed to step up. They were firing off the ball. Firing off the ball is one of the things I saw that was completely different compared to these last 2 games. It seemed like they were lackadaisical in their blocks. This week, they were hitting the hole. And I think that proved out a little bit more with Tyler Beatty than maybe Javonte Williams. And you brought it up. So I got to bring in, well, kind of the third horseman in the chat. Mr. Jody Moncrief says Denver really needs to consider moving on from Javonte Williams. Are you underneath that same opinion, buddy?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am. I love Javonte Williams, love the story, but unfortunately, just for me, just doesn't seem like he's seeing those holes that are there. And I've seen the past couple of weeks. That's why I've been calling for it. I don't think it's just been the offensive line. Now, the offensive line can always be more consistent. Of course, they can be better, but I think Javonte Williams, he's struggling to hit the holes right, and you have to reward your offensive linemen when they make the right blocks and then run blocking. And in my opinion, this Broncos offensive line, they've been better in run blocking than they have in pass pro. So I think changing it up in the running back room, I think is what was needed. You're not going to change every single player out on your offensive line, especially with Mike McGlinchey down. So, I mean, a change in the running back room, I think could definitely bode well for this Denver Broncos football team. Having Tyler Beatty in there, Jaleel McLaughlin there a little bit more, I think definitely helped. And I wonder if we're going to start seeing them more going forward. So I think the answer is yes to a point, but I think Javonte Williams can be in a different role, maybe a Samaje P-rank type of role. He can be in the pass pro a little bit and be in the passing game, be more involved in the passing game. And I think that's what Javonte Williams does best is in the passing game and, give him a little bit of a break in the running game. It's time to get other guys involved and really have a nice rotation of running backs to help out Bo Nix going forward.
Hey, you got a stable of running backs. Go ahead and use them like a stable of running backs. This horse is not doing so well out there. Can't go out there and plow like we really want him to on the field.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and get another horse out there and let him take most of the runs. And when that horse gets tired, we've still got that horse. He can go out there. He can make a couple of runs on a couple of lines out there. But maybe taking the pressure off of Javonte Williams. And I've been a big advocate for Javonte Williams. I don't think it's all been his fault necessarily. The last 2 games, he came back quickly last season. But, when you go out there and you see Tyler Beatty start ripping off runs and you see Jaleel McLaughlin turn that corner and punch it in for a touchdown, which I thought was astounding. That play has got to be on some type of highlight reel somewhere nationally. I thought he was dead to rights in the backfield. There was no way he was getting to make that move and then to have the burst to get around the corner and in. Whew, I was a Jaleel McLaughlin fan big time at that moment, man. And that was big. That put us up, and man, this team never looked back. They kept the pressure on. They didn't necessarily put up the touchdowns, down the stretch, but they kept the pressure on this defense. Once again, just closing out a game. This is back-to-back weeks of 13 points and 7 points. I mean, come on now. What a performance by this defense. I got to give it up to Jeremy, who jumps in here and says, "Sup, fellas, go Broncos, Montana State," because he's also a Bobcat fan. And how about them Buffs as well? If you were checking out last night's game, that was a heck of a game as well, man. I was up late night watching that one as well. So Kenny says, "Congratulations on the win. sweating the Giants game out. I will say I picked the Broncos in this one. Just saying, congrats again. And Joanne Kirk's coming in saying they did it. It feels like a monkey off our back, man. It was so nice seeing the end of the game and seeing Bo Nix taking a knee and not like, oh, whew, we survived it. No, we, like I said, we had a hold of this game, and just about the time you thought they were going to come back in, we just kept pouring it on. So, I mean, again, hats off. Michael Ronquillo coming in here, dropping stars on a Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much. Michael says, good afternoon, Keith and Trevor. Go Broncos. Big orange and blue hearts, giving us that mile-high salute. Michael, appreciate the support. Appreciate you so much. Kind of like Patrick Wiltsey. It's not coffee. It should be. Because I'm usually always drinking coffee, but Patrick Wiltsey's coming in saying, aloha boys, early morning coffee game for me, 7 a.m. Definitely we're waking up for Knicks looked more comfortable today. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest storylines that we can take is like I said, not the stride, but the 2 strides and a leap, I think he said. I think he took, like I said. Jeremy saying great weekend for football. Absolutely. It was for any of you Buffs fans, especially out there. I don't know how many other Bobcat fans there are, but certainly tons of Broncos fan. And what a weekend. What a weekend to get off this night. Congratulations, Broncos fans. It took our teams 3 weeks, but we both got on the board with the win. Well, congratulations to the Giants as well. And then Roy Osborne coming in last saying, hey there, Horseman. I didn't see this coming. However, Javonte is not our guy. Give it a Beatty. And hey, how about Palchesko? Yeah. Palcho, as they call him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he did pretty dang well. Martin's coming in saying, I love it. That's why they play the game. Everyone had us losing. Heck, I think we were 6.5-point underdogs heading into this game. That's huge when it comes to a spread, if anybody knows. He says, even me. But praise God, they proved me wrong. And I'll like I said, I kind of mentioned it right off the bat. Kenny's coming in saying, I think the O-line needs a little bit of recognition here. I agree. Like I said, Palcheski came in, did fantastic for McGlinchey. I've been hard when it comes on Wattenberg and Powers. These guys were doing quite well today. Honestly, the worst guy, and he's kind of been one of the bad guys out there anyway. We didn't like seeing Garrett Bowles get that big hold that negated a big run from Bo Nix as well. But I'm going to turn it back over. I've been blabbering for a while, Trevor. Your thoughts on this offensive line, this win? That's why they play the game, and like I said, the monkey off our back.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, though. A lot of us doubted the Broncos, but for good reason. I mean, let's be honest. Past couple of weeks, the offense has been disaster. I've been a disaster. Well, let's be honest. So I think it's a good thing to doubt a little bit and kind of be a little bit critical on this team, because then we can hold them to a lot more higher standards, and certainly it paid off. And well, I don't think it's Sean Payton's best play calling game. I think this game is more about Bo Nix than anything, and I think he deserves credit for how the offensive line played as well. He got the ball quick. I mean, the Tampa Bay, they were jumping off sides. That's how frustrated they were with not being able to get after Bo Nix in this one. I mean, he just got the ball quickly. There was guys open. The wide receivers, let me shout out to the wide receivers for getting open, and just seemed like those guys had a heck of a day. And love seeing a little Jordan Humphrey out there making plays when now he's on an official 53-man roster. So, no, I mean, again, I think it's all around team effort. I think there's definitely some things that this team could have done better. I think that offensive line had its times when it was good. Pass pro, I mean, I still seen Bo Nix get under pressure quite often, and he still made moves to where, and with his legs, that to get a first down or extend a drive. But Bo Nix, man, I mean, it's so nice having a quarterback get rid of the football quickly and not allow a defense to get after the quarterback. And I think that was a big factor that I took away with this game. Still got to watch the film, but I really like what I see from Bo Nix. That he's take away the bigger picture. I think, again, the Broncos, I'm confident in Bo Nix right now, because what he proved today, Keith, was exactly what the Broncos were looking for when they drafted him. This is the Bo Nix that we've seen at Oregon, and this is the flashes that you've seen. You were looking for the flashes with the quarterback with Bo Nix, and you've seen that today with him. And I think that's just huge for the Broncos going forward. If you can hit on a quarterback it makes your job a lot easier to be able to build and have the pieces around him. And some of the pieces around him did good enough in this game today, and huge win on the road, and just a big confidence for this team going forward on both sides of the ball. I mean, VJ's too. I mean, just man, he might be a head coaching candidate at this point if we continues to this defense continues to show out like this.
I want you to talk about this a little bit though, because everyone was talking about it, and I know I'll have to go back and, like you said, look at some of that tape, but talk about Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin being a part of this offense as well, man. It was brought to my attention because Roy Osborne is saying we need to take a look at the stats. It was spread around as far as those receiving targets were dispersed today, on the field down in Tampa Bay. But like I said, I think there was a couple, whether they were penalties or not, that went to Mims or who am I think? All of a sudden, I'm losing a name. Franklin. Thank you, Mims or Franklin, that didn't even show up on the stat sheet. So, what were your thoughts, man? As like you said, it was spread around.
It was spread around, but Cortland Sutton, I need to throw him in there. While he led this team in receptions with 7, and had 68 yards on the day. So it's good to see Cortland Sutton, be involved as well. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see these guys being involved. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think it was spread around, but I wouldn't say these guys, really outshowed, the performance today. I mean, Troy Franklin had 2 receptions for 11 yards. Marvin Mims had 1 reception for 9 yards. So I wouldn't say these guys, overly performed today. I agree with what Roy said. It was more spread around today. But I think really I like what I'm seeing from Cortland Sutton and getting him involved, because it seemed like Bo Nix has been trying over the last couple of weeks to get Sutton involved. But maybe he was just pushing the ball a little bit too much his way. And it was just, not working out. This week it ended up working out for Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix, and they finally linked up, which is, again, Cortland Sutton is this Broncos' number 1 wide receiver. Maybe not a number 1 wide receiver elsewhere, but here in Denver, he is your number 1 wide receiver. And Bo Nix needs Cortland Sutton, and this Broncos offense needs Cortland Sutton to perform well, and he did that exact today.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of shade thrown in there. But Cortland Sutton is our number 1. And he did show up on the stat sheet. Like you said, 7 receptions, 68 yards. Little Jordan Humphries came in second with 6 receptions for 37. Our Josh Reynolds came in, kind of falls off, 2 for 36. Javonte Williams, 4 catches for 29 yards for a 7.2 yard average. Nice catch by Troutman as well. Like you said, Franklin with a couple, Mims with 1, McLaughlin with 1, and Nate Atkins as well in there. So was very well spread around. The thing that I don't think it was necessarily that we spread it to more receivers. It was what we did with the ball, and what we did with the ball right off the bat. Right off the bat, these were fairly downfield targets that we're taking, pushing the ball, pushing that defense further back, letting them know that we have the opportunity to get there. And like Jody says, that fade pass will connect in the future as well. It's so opportune to get that, because then everything starts opening up a little bit underneath. Again, hats off to this Tampa Bay team, because I think they played hard. This is a team that has aspirations, and it was our time. And this team, this is what I really thought, man. This is what I, even heading into this game, predicting only a slight win, 17-14 was my prediction. But my thought was everything that Sean Payton was talking about, why he loved this team. Why? Because they're young and they fight. And it's a little bit of they don't know any better. Well, that's the case that was needed today. They were on the road, 100+ degree heat on the field, as I saw the thermometer back behind the quarterback at one point. Early game, 2-0 opponent, and you go out there and you get the win. Congratulations. And like you said, we'll go back and watch the tape, but I think the play calling was much better. I think that we were getting out of the huddle a lot quicker at times.
At times.
At times. Hey, the thing that I liked is I saw right at 26, he's starting to walk up to the huddle and he's hearing the play and he's getting in there. And I think the last few things that he was saying to Bo Nix was, hey, watch for this, look for that, rather than just hearing the play call. Because you can say whatever the heck you want in that headset, Trevor. It just doesn't have to be the play call. You get open time until you get up, until the mic is cut off. And if you want to say, hey, watch out for 55, he's been eating our guard on every play, you can say that. You can coach as much as you want in that headset. And I think that was a little bit what was happening. I think it was helping out a lot. So I think the play calling was better, but you nailed it, man. And I think we'll see it in the tape as well. This was Bo Nix's game. This was his coming out party. This was his NFL debut for all intents and purposes. And it was a beautiful one down in Tampa. Makes me excited now to see what happens as we, I guess, hang out in West Virginia before heading on to New York and taking on the New York Jets is what I guess the plan is, if I remember correctly. So I know that we usually only go to about 30 minutes. We got about 10 minutes left. Anybody in the chat, questions, thoughts, comments, love to get them in there. Think about that while I tell you about our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Just really quick, if you're looking for Southwest jewelry, Southwest pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices, you need to head over to Morgan Trinkets. 33 years experience in the business. They go all their business online through Facebook, via PayPal. Anything over $50 is shipped absolutely free. If you catch them at a show, all major credit cards are provided. Again, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, estate gold at wholesale prices. I'm talking about the best, Morgan Trinkets. That's the place to go. I'll drop the link. Any other thoughts before we get out of here, Trevor? And like I said, we got about 8 minutes left in our show. Again, 1-2, a lot better than 0-3. That's what Kenny's saying. But what are your thoughts, man?
No, I just want to, I didn't mean to throw a little shade at Courtland Sutton. I wasn't trying to throw shade at Courtland Sutton earlier when I said that he was the number one elsewhere. I think it's fair to criticize him that way because elsewhere there's just, again, those guys just put up amazing stats. But I think that Courtland Sutton, what he does for this football team gives this team a number one wide receiver and it's just something this team hasn't had in a while. And hopefully, again, this is a breakout season for Courtland Sutton. But no, I wasn't trying to throw shade at Courtland Sutton at all. I think that he's a very fantastic wide receiver. But you can make the case elsewhere that there's other number one wide receivers that maybe are just a smidge better than him. I think he's a number two on a playoff caliber roster. But no, I think that, again, offense took strides in the right direction in this game. Love to see it. I think Bo Nix, again, I know I'm talking a lot about Bo Nix, but man, I really seen something here with Bo Nix. He showed flashes that I want to see, that I think Bronco fans should want to see. I think that he made checks at the line of scrimmage and he had time to do so. We'll see and we'll find out if Sean Payton kind of maybe shortened up the playbook a little bit for him, or maybe shortened up when he said it in the headset, so Bo Nix could say it in the huddle a little bit quicker. Yeah, so I think the operation was a little bit better today. Still needs to kind of be cleaned up a little bit, kind of still seeing them get at the line of scrimmage with 5 seconds to go and barely get the playoff in time. So there's still, again, strides in the right direction for this football team, without a doubt. The defense, fantastic once again today. Shut Baker Mayfield and that offense down.
7 sacks, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you just love to see it. It's exciting time for Broncos fans. I think, everybody should be excited about this football team. It's going to have a challenging week coming up with the New York Jets, but all in all, that's a playoff team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That was a playoff team last year. They took Detroit pretty deep into the playoffs last year. Took the Detroit Lions to beat them, and that's a Super Bowl contender. So, pat on the back for the Denver Broncos. And again, a win's a win regardless. But just again, strides and positivity is definitely on the Denver Broncos side today, and love to see it. And can't wait to continue to see the strides that Bo Nix continues to take with this team going forward. Because man, we've seen a different Bo Nix today, and I will say this. It looks like he will be this Denver Broncos quarterback of the future, franchise quarterback of the future, going forward. He definitely looked like that today, and I love to see it from him. It was the Bo show today.
It was the Bo show. Phil McLaughlin coming in here on a Sunday afternoon, lighting up the sky with stars. Man, appreciate you, Phil. He says, hello, Keith and Trevor. Good to see a complete game. been a long time since we played 4 complete quarters. The only thing I would say to that is I would have loved to seen one more touchdown kind of going down the stretch from this team. Put those 14 points up early, and then it was kind of a field goal fest after that for the most part. So, a late touchdown would have been great. Just would have made me feel all that much better, leave with another Bo Nix touchdown. I would have been okay with that. I think Broncos country would have been okay with that. But that being said, kept the foot on the pedal, wasn't a punt fest, kept putting points on the board, kept making that score further and further away. It's what you need to do. Hey, you need to go ahead, and if you ain't punching it in, don't make it a punt fest. At least continue to do that. Defense helped out a lot, man. Defense is now the questions start to become, how good is this defense? Because after the first couple of games, they're like, well, it's the Seahawks. Well, it's Justin Fields, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's not a prolific offense. Well, now it's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Baker Mayfield, and it'll be up next. We'll see in this next game as well. But yeah, I think that was a fantastic 4 quarters of football in this game. And Phil, appreciate you jumping in here and being a part of that. And Kenny had a question, and I think I'm right on board with the answer I see below as well. He said, my question is, should Beatty get more carries in this offense, or is he still the number 3 back? Roy's like, yes, Kenny. This is my only issue is that, I like the big back type of feel that we have with the Javonte Williams possibility. If we need to go in there and put our nose in there, I don't feel like that's necessarily a Tyler Beatty type of thing. I don't feel like that's necessarily a Jaleel McLaughlin type of thing. If Audric Estime was still healthy, then yeah, I'd say put Estime in there, put some Tyler Beatty in there. And I like that type of combination, or a Estime and a McLaughlin. But there's just something that Javonte brings when you need a yard. And I know that he hasn't been the most beautiful thing to try to get 4 yards, but the 1 yard, it seems like he's capable of. Unfortunately, when he tries to take 2.5 yards and make it 4 yards, he gets turned upside down and fumbles the ball. That was brutal, because honestly, I gotta say this to hopefully Jody's still listening. I was thinking at that moment, well, there you go. That's what we're looking for, fighting for those extra yards. That was going through my mind, thinking of Jody at that moment. And then 2 seconds later, he rolls off that guy, gets flipped upside down and fumbles the ball, and it's a turnover. And at that point, still in question how big of a turnover that was going to be and how much Tampa Bay was going to get into this game. Luckily, it wasn't devastating for Javonte Williams, and the fact that we didn't take a loss out of this game. But yeah, I think it could subject him to some less playing time and give opportunities for guys like Tyler Beatty. I know that we kind of talked about that earlier. Anything else you want to add in before we get out of here on that? And then we can get some final thoughts, bud.
Yeah, I would love to see the snap counts as well. I think that you see more Tyler Beatty in the second half. I mean, that fumble from Javonte kind of seemed like that kind of sealed the deal, and at least in this game for Javonte. And I think it was the right adjustment from Sean Payton. I didn't think he would make that adjustment as quick as he did, but I thought it was the right adjustment. Yeah, I mean, I think that you can use Javonte. There's certain ways you can use Javonte. I would say right now, I like what Tyler Beatty and Jaleel McLaughlin are seeing when it comes to cutbacks and kind of seeing the holes a little bit more. Not to say that Javonte can't be a part of this offense. I think you can find ways for Javonte to be involved in this offense. Again, in the passing game, you kind of seen that in this game today, but in the passing game going forward. Also with the fumbles, you have 2 running backs that kind of have issues with that right now, because Estime does as well. He has kind of fumble issues. So Sean Payton, we all know no coach likes fumbles, because that means you're kind of putting the ball in harm's way, and it could be a turnover. So, yeah, I mean, the fumbles have to, be cleaned up a little bit, but I like what I'm seeing from Tyler Beatty and from Jaleel McLaughlin, so I think that Sean may ride with them going forward, and maybe he sticks with Javonte. I just think right now, from what you've seen, the signs that you're seeing from Tyler Beatty, I think you kind of need to you owe it to Bo Nix in this offensive line to kind of roll with what is working, and rather than what is not working with Javonte in the running game necessarily.
Just kind of dawned on me as you got done talking and I was reflecting on my thoughts. Maybe we just see a lot more Michael Burton. Maybe we see a lot more Nate Atkins when it comes to some of those 1 yard runs rather than a Javonte Williams, as Roy Osborne said. But, Javonte hasn't really done anything, and it's hard to disagree with that. It's hard to disagree with that. We're at 30 minutes, Ben, but I want to get your final thoughts. Patrick Wiltsey was coming in. Aloha again to him. And thanks again, Lion Coffee. They do amazing things. Check out Lion Coffee. I'm just telling you, if you're a caffeinated or decaffeinated person, you need to check them out. So, but aloha to you. Appreciate you, Patrick, for jumping in and being part of the show as well. But final thoughts as we get out of here, buddy.
Yeah, and final thoughts. I just think again, this team, you kind of seen the upside a little bit with this team. This team is starting to take strides in the right direction. I think it's great, and it's good to see that against a playoff team like Tampa Bay. That's a team that was just in the playoffs last year. Baker Mayfield was on fire a little bit. VJ's defense came after him, and and really blitzed him a lot today, which I really love to see. Baker didn't ever get it. Really, it seemed like he ever got a chance to kind of set his feet and be comfortable in the pocket today. Bo Nix taking strides in the right direction as well. This is what you want to see from your rookie quarterbacks. This is what you want to see from your defense. Not a perfect game from the Denver Broncos, but definitely a game that's the best game of the season by far, and the best game we've seen probably in a while from this football team, just all the way around in general. So love to see it, and can't wait to see what they do against the Jets. Going to be a challenge, against a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So we shall see if the VJ defense can hold up, and see if Bo Nix can hold up in another great environment there in New York. So. But I want to appreciate everybody that got a chance to join us today. Really appreciate it, and can't wait to we'll see how the next week goes against the Jets. Looks like we're losing Keith here a little bit, but can't wait to see how the Jets game goes next week, and I'm very excited. Looks like we lost Keith a little bit. So guys, just kind of want to get your final thoughts. If anybody has any questions, burning questions, kind of get them in the chat. We're about ready to end the stream here. Looks like I lost Keith. Again, guys, we shall see how this Denver Broncos team does going forward with the Jets, and I can't wait to see how Bo Nix continues to make strides, and shall be excited. But looks like we're gonna be signing off here. Looks like Keith's laptop ended up dying. But guys, we'll be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night. We'll get a chance to break down the film a little bit more. And just very excited for it. Can't wait to get your guys' thoughts. Hopefully you guys get a chance to rewatch the game again. But from Mr. Keith Brugman, I'm Trevor Salzman. We shall see you on Tuesday night, and for another great episode of Denver Bronco Roundup. So you guys keep your feet in the stirrups, keep your Broncos in their heart, and as always, go with Broncos.